welcome to the top 20 video game music of 1991 as chosen by you. This show is produced today by Rudi, Prince, Cyflan, Steve, Claudio, Kris, and Lachlan. I am your host, Matthew Falvey. This is the Royal Rumble theme from WWF WrestleFest. 1991 was a crazy time. Arcades, home consoles, computer systems, handheld CDs. It was all out there, and we're going to explore it all right now. Our first theme is from a fantastic franchise that was on its fourth entry and is still being released today. Arguably one of the biggest game franchises in the history of video gaming. This is from Final Fantasy IV, originally released in North America as Final Fantasy II. This is the Boss Battle theme selected by Steve. Baby, Uematsu in some of his finest work. I love that crazy bass, just pedaling away. What do you call those things? Ostinatos? I don't know, Montunos. But then it's got this like beautiful, soaring, epic second section to it. The Super Nintendo getting some pretty good drum beat sounds out of it. Normally that was what the Sega Genesis was a lot better at, but this one it's pretty good. It's got a pretty good snare sound. Uematsu, the absolute master of making things that should be very, very almost like off-putting and weird and kind of challenging to the ear, but it always sounds really catchy. I don't know how he does it, but it's incredible, and it's a fantastic theme. Thank you, Uematsu. This next track is chosen by Claudio. It is from I don't know if it's revolutionary, but the masterpiece of platforming that is Super Mario World. This is my favorite track from this game, and this is a track that has been played many times on our show. This is the friggin' castle theme. that sound like Yoshi singing that last part there? What you know what I love so much about this song is when that melody part that they're hinting at here, when they repeat it and when it goes to that second part and it transposes and just becomes so much more dramatic and incredible. I believe it's right here. Oh. And the interesting thing about this soundtrack is that it's the same melody in every single song. Every single song in this is bum bum ba-dum 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 bum 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 bum. So what they do for this one is they just go minor. Na, 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 dun, dun, na, na, na. I've heard many versions of this. A lot of like celloists, classical groups. And it's incredible. It's bloody incredible. You have the highest respect for Mario for doing music like this. Played these games as a kid and you grew up, you realized how much of good music we had. Oh yeah. We had a huge musical education playing these games. How pretentious is that? But it's true. It's true. Our stupid friends were listening to stupid music and our minds were being fucking blown. Listening to, like, basically this would be what a string quartet would be playing. It's bloody incredible. I didn't even realize that it is the same melody in all the different songs in the soundtrack until the Super Macabre Brothers did a special episode on this one. So if you're watching this show and you haven't heard the Super Macabre Brothers, they really know what they're talking about when it comes to music. God damn, what a great track. Let's get a little bit weirder with the Blue Almanac soundtrack. This was chosen by, who's responsible for this? Planet Teraside, Blue Almanac, chosen by Kris. I mean, look at this. What is this? Better be good. Yeah. And that is a really, really nice surprise. You've got this really rolling kind of shuffle, and I mean, you got some like pretty farty instruments in there because it's a Sega Genesis and it's hard for it to sound really pretty, but I think they do a pretty good job of finding instruments that can still make it sound fairly pretty. And then that kind of offbeat bap, 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 bap. Really, really nice. I have never heard that before. Planet Teraside, Blue Almanac. A really, really quiet kick. Really low in the mix. I like that snare. That snare is like an 808 snare that you hear in a lot of pop music now and trap music. Yeah. You know, sometimes being a follower isn't such a bad thing. Sometimes being a lemming can be a great thing. Sometimes action puzzle is what the kids want. For the Sega Mega Drive, I mean, we call it the Genesis. But Sega Mega Drive is more musical, isn't it? This is chosen by our savior and creator, Lachlan. It is Lend a Helping Hand. I feel like the first part of it sounds a lot like La Bamba or maybe like Twist and Shout. Bum, bum, bum. La 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 bamba. La 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 bamba. Libor streco malemming aicha. Shake it up, baby, now. Not this part though. You know what I really like is the really kind of like cutesy, quirky melody line, which when you look at the screen, it's like you see that these lemmings are just these tiny little cutesy, quirky weirdos. They look like rejects from the Monkees. Sea Monkeys, the band The Monkees. Good thing they weren't in the jungle, because when you're a reject from a tribe of monkeys, or whatever they're called, you're probably going to get eaten. Monkeys can be cruel. I don't trust monkeys. It looks like it was made by Psygnosis. That's my prognosis. Pretty fun. Lemmings. Would you look at this? Who's this guy? Who's this guy and his horse? Warsong. The track? Very inspired name. Player Phase 2 in brackets Kingdom Knight. This was chosen by Cyflan. Let's listen. Oh, Cyflan likes to rock! Huh! That is pretty kick-ass. I love that That really kind of fast, fun, punky, kind of hopping, dancey rock beat, and the way they use those melody lines that sound like sort of two guitars playing a melody with maybe like thirds or fourths in between them, just sounds, it's like super powerful. You could hear some awesome guitar covers of this, I bet, and a lot of crappy ones where people have really crappy guitar tones. But that's neither here nor there. This is very good. The drum sounds on the Genesis really had no business sounding this full, you know? There are a lot of sounds on the Genesis that we've heard already that are pretty annoying when it tries to do things it can't do, but man, it can really play the drums, baby. Oh, look at this gem. From 1991, we get some music from legendary composer Tim Follin. And you might be falling in love with this next track from Gauntlet 3, the title music. Tim Follin, the sounds he gets out of these old-timey game console sound chips, he just knew how to like fill the whole sonic realm with it, and then to go full-on prog, and then bring in bagpipes. Tim Follin, that's what you're gonna do? Are you an angel sent from Scotland? Is Scotland dominating heaven's real estate, Tim Follin? Look at this game on top of it. Who gives a shit about the game when you've got this fucking music, man? Oh, he does, you know, I do kind of feel like he doesn't care too much about what the game is. He's like, I'm going to make everything sound like space prog, which is cool for Silver Surfer and that stuff. And you're like, all right, I guess like a lot of prog music kind of fits well with, say, fantastical, Middle Earth kind of stuff, Lord of the Rings. But I'm watching a guy in robes getting chased by shuffling ghosts, and I'm listening to space prog, and I love it. Good Lord, that was nice, Tim Follin. But hey, remember LucasArts when they made video games? How about this one? Monkey Island Special Edition 2, LeChuck's Revenge. This is Governor Marley's Mardi Gras fish fry, chosen by Prince. What a guy. Here we go. Pretty surprised if that was the track from the 1991 version. The really interesting thing about this is you've got this whole New Orleans style of with the melody. The melody's all totally New Orleans. Horky comes in and knows. Horky's actually been here the entire time, but he didn't want to say anything until he could drop some serious knowledge. But the crazy part is that you have reggae bass and drums combined with it. So you got all these crazy clarinets going off. That's one of the fun things about New Orleans music is that usually for the last run through of the melody, the head, you'll have everybody solo at the same time, which makes it sound like a big party. All at the same time. But you also have this, yeah, like the ching 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 ching, and the bass going boom 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 boom. I've never heard reggae and New Orleans music together. But Prince, you fucked up! Let's try to find it from 1991. It's actually not that far off. Interesting. Well, there were CDs out at the time. I mean, FM Towns was a CD home computer. I finally figured out what FM Towns is. Sega CD came out later that year. There were CDs on the PC. So, yeah, there's just a few MIDI instruments, but there's actually a lot of other real stuff too. Like a lot of the drums sound pretty real, and some of the wind instruments sound recorded. There's just some other fake stuff in there, and the bass is synthy too. But yeah, I think some more of the reggae stuff kind of comes through. Anyway, it's really not that far off. I thought it was all going to be MIDI shit, but it's not. Well, this next track is from Golden Axe 2, Dark Guild's Castle, chosen by Kris. Man, this would be a really great song to remix into a big, giant EDM song. Do people call them that? Songs? I don't know. An EDM thing. A thing to listen to while you're high on ketamine. Man, I love this track. It's got some really nice Latin bass. It's got a really kind of like cozy song. It's got that crazy-ass snare drum. Look at the cover art for this game. I mean, how friggin' sexy is that? Look at these sexy people. Oh, Prince, check out this hot old man. That's a buff old man. They're also buff. That babe is buff. This guy's so buff he makes his sword look tiny. Look at his friggin' thighs. That's a dwarf. I know he's standing on a rock to look taller. How's the Japanese cover? Well, ask and you shall receive. It's way worse. I guess it's just more gamey. I like the sexy one. The girl below likes it. Uh-huh. If it was sword against axe, as soon as they lift up their axe, you just chop with your sword. The axe falls over. Too top heavy. Our next track is called macabre. Wait, macabre. Macabre funk from Magic Sword, chosen by Claudio. Woohoo! Good lord, that is some smooth ass synth funk. The bass is so bloody good. They can mix the drums a little lower because the drums on the Super Nintendo are not going to sound as good as that bass. This is Manami Matsumae. She's very good. A lot of female Japanese composers getting a good chance back then. Probably way more so than what you would see in North American video game music. Although I could be completely wrong about that. I mean, this song is just relentless. It doesn't use a lot of different instruments, but the ones that are there are just so frenetic and so rhythmic that they're kind of creating so much more for you to listen to in between. Fantastic. Get ready. We've been listening to a lot of obscure shit because we're hardcore hipsters. We're the real gamers. But every once in a while, a big track has got to shine through. This is from Super Castlevania 4 from the incredible company Konami. Who doesn't love Konami? Maybe not now. But all that old stuff. This is Stage B, Beginning. B2. Chosen by Steve. Lord. Some more unrelenting bass and drums. This track just has like such a way of almost making you feel like you're it's kind of like off kilter, the way it sort of throws in those like stabs of melody. And Rudi's pointing out that I might have called this Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I meant to say Super Castlevania 4. Oh man, you can hear so much of. It's cool because this is an arrangement of an older Castlevania 3 theme, but this really carried through into some of the best tracks of Symphony of the Night. You definitely feel like a Castlevania. It's heroic, but it's got a lot of what would you call that? What's that classical music? Baroque. It's got a nice kind of, it's like very elegant and kind of evil sounding, but really, really fun. And then just pounding rock drums and bass underneath. Pound it! Hey, FM Towns. I finally found out what it is today. I know it's been explained to me many times, but this time I read it on Wikipedia. Now it sticks with me. It was a home computer gaming console. Just heard an explosion outside, but I'm still alive. Shockwave! That used a CD and its own sort of OS and everything. It used to be very unique, and then it kind of bowed down and used a clone kind of DOS thing to, try to make it more ubiquitous. But this was a gaming console in 1991. There's so many different options. Rudi loves it. He loves it. This is from the game Brandish, and the song is called Dink. Holy hell, listen to those jazz nerds just go insane on the keyboards. Oh my god. I don't know if I've ever heard so many notes before, but still played very tastefully. It's like an electronic casino circus. Yeah. It's FM synth, so it inevitably sounds similar to the Mega Drive, especially since the sound chip is related to the Mega Drive. But FM Towns was also CD, right? So couldn't they could do CD music if they wanted? Oh my god, that is insane. I mean, in terms of just like pure shredding, but it's still in a tasteful way. That's crazy. Yeah, I feel the same way, Steve. It's just so good, it's funny. And then also Horky giving the visual of Beethoven and Bill and Ted's Adventure on the keytar. Good lord. And remember, it was called Dink. This next one is a Prince pick. It's our last one before we have some trivia about 1991 gaming. This is from Thunder Zone. The track is called Leave It To Me, composed by Gamadelic. more 80s, late 80s, 90s friggin' guitar shredding. It works pretty well. I mean, when you look at what the game is, it's just an intense overload, a cacophony of bullets, visuals, people just shooting the hell out of each other like bullet hell. But you're the bullet archangels sent from heaven to destroy everything in your path. It doesn't even seem fair. Oh my god! Look at the attack that thing had. I like that, it's called a ghost bend when the guitar goes meow when it starts up high and then bends down. It's some crazy shredding. It's got some nice bass too. You know, I forgot to mention there was a previous track we played. Shit. It might have been that Magic Sword macabre, where the bass sounded so good. It was like there was a lot of like, it was almost like being slapped. Just slapping away. So 1991 is a really interesting year. It was a real crossroads of these different consoles and franchises that were really starting. It was sort of like the next step away from after Nintendo saved gaming in the mid-80s with the NES. I mean, you had the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, the TurboGrafx, PC Engine, the Amiga, FM Towns. SNK put out the Neo Geo, which was really powerful, but cost $650 US back then, which would be with inflation like over $1,000. And the games back then cost $250 because they were basically like reproductions of the actual arcade game. So you could have an arcade game at your house, but it was just insanely expensive. It was like when the first VHS, VCR tapes came out, and if you wanted to buy a movie, it was something like $100. And it wasn't until, I think, Tim Burton's Batman that you had the first affordable home video cassette of a movie. And then, of course, the arcades were going really strong with Street Fighter II, put out in 1991. The Game Boy was kicking ass, even though there were much more powerful handhelds like the Sega Game Gear, the Atari Lynx, the Turbo Express, which was the mini TurboGrafx. But the Game Boy beat them all because it cost, back then, less than $100, and it ran on 2 AA batteries. And even though it didn't look powerful, it had great games, and it just worked really well. Whereas the Game Gear would take 6 AAA batteries, or maybe AA batteries. They were all heavier and bigger, and they were so expensive. I think a Game Gear back then was like, in today's money, was close to $300 at the time. And the other ones were even more expensive. First CD home consoles released at the end of the year with Sega's Sega CD, the Philips CDI. The CDI was put out then. Big games that year: Final Fantasy IV, Link to the Past, Sonic 1, Street Fighter 2, Another World. That was a big step ahead. Road Rash, one of my favorites. Battletoads, Neverwinter Nights, which was called the first graphical MMORPG. Duke Nukem on the PC. Civilization started in 1991. Super Castlevania 4. SimCity released on the Super Nintendo, which was a big deal. Metroid 2 on the Game Boy. Turtles in Time, Streets of Rage, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Mega Man 4, a whole bunch more. There was so much new technology coming out. What was really interesting is back then, everybody was solving the problems in a different way. How the Super Nintendo showed its visuals and did its sound compared to how the Sega Genesis did it, compared to how they did it on the PC and how they did it in the arcade. You know, you look at the portables with how Nintendo's idea with the Game Boy compared to the other ones. It's always been trying to find that sweet spot of like, you know, sure, you can have the Neo Geo and it can be really powerful, but hardly anybody's going to be able to afford that. So that was the interesting time about 1991. What a great year in gaming. This track, oh man, hard to say what's my favorite this week, but this is definitely one of the most impressive. Streets of Rage, probably the finest implementation of the Sega Genesis sound hardware. This is stage 1, chosen by Rudi. Oh yeah. Total masterpiece. Yeah, I like that the cover art back then was telling kids that all the stuff I grew up looking at in the 90s was basically promoting the use of steroids. I mean, my heroes when I was a kid were like Hulk Hogan. No, I hated Hulk Hogan, but the Ultimate Warrior, he was even more of a steroid freak. I mean, look at these guys. That's not natural. It's really weird how the girl looks like she's from kind of a Japanimation. Like that guy in the center. Wow. Man, the first 30 seconds, 45 seconds of this thing could sound like they'd be put out today. You know, before, and then as it starts bringing in other different instruments, you can hear like, oh, okay, that's kind of like the chintzy Genesis FM synth chip. But the very first instruments that are played, I mean, like it is so bloody timeless. Wow. Incredible. You know, we couldn't get through talking about 1991 without mentioning gynoug and Wings of War, spelt with an O. Chosen by Prince. This is stage 4-2, in case you were wondering. Simple track. It just sort of drones on that same pretty simple bass and drums. Uses a bit of that Egyptian scale. Probably fits pretty well for a shoot 'em up game. The drums definitely do sound very Mortal Kombat. I like that. It's kind of a weird bass and synth line doubled up. I like when music makes my face go. All right, obviously we were going to play something from gynoug, but how about something a little more obscure? How about something from Street Fighter 2? This is Vega's theme. I'm going to play the version called Street Fighter 2 Ultimate Edition. This is remixed and rearranged and remastered from the raw sound files of the arcade, Super Nintendo, and Genesis versions, combining the best of each to create one ultimate version of Street Fighter 2. This is done by one of the Marcado brothers, Carl Brogerman. This is not Jeopardy, Vega's theme. Okay, let's check out some of the other versions. So this is from, I actually don't know what this one is from. This is from whoever submitted it. So Steve, what version did you put on here? Yeah, pretty good. Some of the problems the Super Nintendo versions had is that they would have the notes could be out of tune if you didn't know how to program it perfectly. Yeah, no horns there. All right, let's try out this Super Smash version. All right. Super Nintendo means a lot of games named Super. Super R-Type. Solo Sortie. Claudio's pick. You know, just on the intro, I thought this song was going to be pretty lackluster, but it kicks in and it's really nice. I feel like with the look of this game and the sound of it, and it being a super version of a game, this is meant as sort of like a showcase game, or and especially because like R-Type itself is sort of feels like it's almost from a previous era. You know, it's almost like the mid 80s and late 80s sort of like arcade shooters. So this is like a higher evolved version of an older type of game, you know. Well, a lot of the Super Nintendo tracks did seem kind of muffled. There are some people who do great remasters of them, but it's just because they're so compressed. I really like it. It's got like some really all the. I like that muffled kind of Super Nintendo compression. It's sometimes it's not as like rockin', but it can be easier on the ears. This is a partial part of R-Type 2. Oh, I see. It takes 4 stages from R-Type 2 with 3 original ones. Weird. Hey! If I earlier accidentally said Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and you were disappointed that it was Super Castlevania, I don't know why, be disappointed no longer. This is Haunted Graveyard from the aforementioned game, chosen by Kris. Oh, fart all over me, baby. Yeah, this is an interesting track because it doesn't have any percussion. It just uses not that many instruments, really. Just a lot of bass and some orchestration. Yeah, I like it because it's got like a cute and quirky way of playing this sort of elegantly evil, dramatic music. But when you look at the visuals of Super Ghouls and Ghosts, it's done in a super cartoony. Actually, I didn't realize how animated that girl was in this game. It has huge farting bass. It's very impressive farts. Really short loop, but quite satisfying. This one, again, feels like you're taking an NES game and you're making it a super version of that. The music, actually, I mean, this track sounds like it could be played on an NES, where you have an extremely limited amount of sound channels. The gameplay is pretty identical to the NES. I always just got frustrated with how his jump was so limited. But the music is not limited. It's Popful Male, Volcanic Zone, chosen by Rudi. Oh. PC98 has slight different sounds from the PC88, or maybe the same chip, or I don't know. It's really nice. I mean, whatever it is, whatever chip it's using, whatever it's doing, it's really emotional. I love that really simple call and response. Just really fun, really galloping, very video gamey. Oh man, such a nice use of that like really short played, nice type percussion. And then really soaring synths over top of it. I recorded this video, this gameplay video, way back when I lived in Toronto. 2016. It's light outside because I was up all night. I recorded that at about 5 in the morning, whenever the sun rose. Really, really good game. That's when I had my really tiny, thin reporter's microphone. I like this cutscene. Just your average kid's game. Nothing suggestive at all. This was on the Sega CD where you had these cool cutscenes. I don't know if these cutscenes were in the PC88 version. Composed by Atsushi Shirakawa from the Falcom sound team, of course. Making its second entry in this week's playlist. Super Castlevania 4. This time it's... Wait, that doesn't... No. We already listened to this one, didn't we? Simon's theme? Didn't we already listen to that? Nope, before we listen to Stage B. This is Simon's theme. Here we go. Cyflan knows. Play the intro, Matt. The really like proggy rhythms in there. Some more Latin bass. They loved their Latin bass back then. I love when this opening riff stops and it kind of has this sort of weird like offbeat drum intro. Might come after this cascading organ layer. No, it's building, it's building, it's building. You are fighting many castles. It kind of gives it that feeling of like a bit of like precision, the way it kind of boom, boom, boom. You gotta stop. You gotta be really careful. Don't get knocked off the stairs. It'd be a shame if you got knocked off the stairs. That's what I wanted to hear. Our last two are two picks from Kris. The first one is going to be Battletoads Turbo Tunnel, but it's quite short, so I'm also going to play Sonic 1 Marble Zone after that because that's just a great song too. So let's hear it. Battletoads, an NES title, still remembered today for its pretty interesting gameplay mechanics and ridiculous difficulty and interesting characters. This is Turbo Tunnel Part 2. This guy go. He is kicking ass. Oh! Yeah, I don't think I ever got through this. But what I loved about Battletoads is that it was just so inventive. It was a side-scrolling beat 'em up, but the different weapons and like you'd hit them, and then like the way their feet would kind of morph into a big boot or like a giant fist, and then you'd be descending down into that well, swinging back and forth, and there's just like really satisfying mechanics to it. The rest of the game's even harder than this? Oh my god. So you're allowed to hit those, Oh my god! Oh! How much longer is this level? That's it. That's the end of it. Wow. Way to go. All right, our last track of it, and then we'll pick what ones are coming out next week. Thanks, everybody, for your contributions and for hanging out. This is from Sonic 1. There it is. Marble Zone. love that that intro there. Ba-da-da, boom. Great, Sonic 1. I mean, the Sonic soundtracks are just so bloody good. Oh my god. Because they got... I don't know who it was, but it was some sort of Japanese pop guy. Who is obviously a musical genius. Oh, I'm cheating. I'm cheating to beat this. I think I also recorded this one really late at night, and I was having a few drinks, and I just wanted to beat it. I wanted to beat the game, and I was playing it on my Nintendo. One of the multiple ways there are to play Sonic on your portable Nintendo console. I bought the Sega collection. And I think it's also available as part of your upgraded Nintendo Online package. I played Sonic Mania. It was really good. I'm really glad how they made it. I'm glad that they got the fella who spent his whole life making Sonic ROM hacks to make it. I think it's incredible that they actually got the right person to make it. It's like, what if you got all the modders of Grand Theft Auto games to make your remastered definitive edition? Wouldn't that have been better? But oh yeah, here. I explained, Kris. The game, this is called Let's Finally Beat Sonic the Hedgehog and cheat because it's fucking shit. Ooh. Ah. Ooh. Diggy diggy. Yeah. Well, that's it. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks very much. Bye.